What is up, everyone? My name is Jack Southall, back again with another video, and today I'm coming at you with something new, something I've wanted to try out. I was thinking of ideas for videos that I could do, and because I was going to upload some SmackDown Here Comes the Pain season mode, but as I went to check the footage of my SummerSlam episode, it kind of looks like this. Yeah, it's fucked. It's fucked. And then I recorded another episode afterwards, and the file was just like that. It was just like the audio was completely skittering in and out, and the video was just going all over the place. So I don't know what the fuck is going on with my Elgato capture card. I'm going to have to sort something out about that, because I don't want to stop doing Here Comes the Pain season mode. I know most of the people who are subscribed to my channel watch that series, so I'm going to have to try and fix that. And also, I want to make this video as well, because I haven't uploaded a video in 2 weeks. I need to get back into the swing of things, and why not with something kind of original? It's just something that I just popped in my head. I'm thinking this would be cool to do every month, and that is the month in wrestling. So the month in wrestling is, the title basically says it all. It's me recapping the entire month, the previous month, and talking about not just in the world of WWE, but also NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, anything outside of that, any big announcements. Just pretty much, if you have decided to not care about wrestling for a month and you need something to go and catch you up, this is what this series is about. Basically, getting you all filled in on the month that previously happened. So we're going to focus on July of 2018, and before we get into any actual shows or anything like that, we're going to bring up something a bit depressing, and that is the loss of 3 professional wrestlers who all unfortunately passed away on the 29th. And the first one was Brickhouse Brown. And I'll be real with you, I haven't really heard of this guy before, but he was a top heel in the summer promotions in the 80s and the 90s. And it's not good hearing about a wrestler passing away, no matter if you've heard of them or not. But he was trained by Eddie Graham and Terry Funk. And he wrestled a little bit in the WWF as enhancement talent. And yeah, it was not nice to hear. He was reportedly dead from prostate cancer on July 20th. And it wasn't announced until 9 days later. So that's very unfortunate to hear about that. The second wrestler that passed away was Nikolai Volkoff. Very famous heel from the 80s era of wrestling, being from the Soviet Union. That was his character at the time, and how he would always sing the Russian national anthem and just get massive heat from the fans. He was definitely a great heel performer in the 80s, even though he hated the Soviet Union in real life. I read something about that and how he wanted to come to America for a better life. But yeah, it sucked hearing about Nikolai Volkoff passing, because he was just a great heel in the 80s. I remember him winning the tag team titles with the Iron Sheik at WrestleMania, and seeing that clip on the DVD, when I first watched it, and just the amount of hatred that he would get from the crowd. You don't see that level of hatred that much for heels anymore, with the obvious exceptions. But yeah, shame hearing about that, about Nikolai Volkoff, and I hope he rests in peace. And the third one here, this one is really bad. Brian Christopher, aka Grandmaster Sexay from the Too Cool group, was found hanging in his cell, in his jail cell, I believe, was how he passed away. And yeah, and it was observed to be brain dead, and his life support was disabled after Jerry Lawler, his dad, arrived at the hospital to bid his farewell. He was only 46, so that was not nice to hear at all, along with the 2 others. But hearing Brian Christopher's death was just very sad. He had a lot of demons, unfortunately, for Brian Christopher. He was constantly getting arrested. He got arrested in 2009 for disorderly conduct and for public intoxication. Yeah, he had a lot of problems in his life, unfortunately. But he was so fun to watch when he was teamed up with Scotty 2 Hotty. The whole Too Cool thing, it brought a lot of smiles to people's faces, especially in the Attitude Era, where they would just be dancing and having a good time and all that stuff. And it was definitely just a nice character for that Attitude Era, just a bunch of white dudes wanting to dance and have fun, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. But, yeah, it looks like off camera he was a very different person. So, yeah, it's sad to start off this episode on a very somber note, but rest in peace to all three of these wrestlers. So, we'll move on to the current state of WWE programming and some of the things that have been sticking out to me recently. So we'll talk about Monday Night Raw. This fucking show, man. I have become so disinterested in this show. Like, every time I'm thinking, oh, maybe this is going to be the episode where we get something interesting, we just don't. We just don't. There's nothing on this show that intrigues me. The baby faces are all just smiling idiots, and just even some of the heels aren't really that intriguing to me. Like, the Constable Baron Corbin hasn't exactly clicked with me yet. Maybe give it a while. Like, there are interesting elements to this show, like Elias, for example, Braun Strowman. Like, there are interesting characters, but overall, just the show in general, it's so watered down. It's just so bland. Like, you might get a good segment or a good match every now and then, but there's just nothing really going for this show at all. Yeah, I mean, the stuff with Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler was interesting up until their match at Extreme Rules, but even then I'm starting to get a little bit tired of it. I don't know, man. Like, some of the babyface characters, I don't know who the hell's been booking these babyface characters, but Finn Balor and Bobby Lashley and guys like that who just constantly smile. I'm like, can you not? Like, you could still be a badass babyface and not smile. Like, it's not that hard, man. And just storylines that haven't been intriguing me at all. Like, the Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens storyline was just stupid. And, yeah, B-Team is the Raw Tag Team Champions now, so I've been not that interested in the Raw Tag Team division lately. I know the Revival are starting to put their foot in the door now, and they could be going after the Raw Tag Team titles, which could get me excited again. You know, seeing Revival as the Raw Tag Team Champions would not disappoint me at all. But, yeah, just what can I say about this show that hasn't been said by a million people on this website? Like, what's the point of even watching it anymore? Like, there's one storyline that's been pissing me off, the Sasha Banks Bayley storyline. So let me get this straight. You have Bayley beat the shit out of Sasha Banks one week, and then they try to be friends the next week, and now they're good buddies again. Like, this whole Bayley Sasha Banks storyline has been such a waste of time. Honestly, I don't know if they just decided to be friends again so they could become, like, women's tag team champions, if that title's even going to be instated in the WWE. But, yeah, I've had enough of talking about Raw. It's just, who fucking cares about Raw at this point? Their champion doesn't even goddamn show up. Like, who honestly gives a fuck? Like, so we'll talk about a big announcement that was on Raw, and that was the announcement that on October the 28th, my birthday, well, it's going to be October the 29th for me, but in the States, on October the 28th, the WWE Evolution pay-per-view will be an all-women's exclusive show. I'm very excited about this. I really want them to do well on this show, and this is a massive step for the Women's Evolution to do an all-women's show. But here's the thing. If you're going to do an all-women's show, I don't want to see a single male on this show. I don't know if this Evolution pay-per-view is like an apology for the Greatest Royal Rumble being all men. But, you know, I'm very excited for this. All I want to see is, I don't want to see a single person with a dick and balls between their legs on this show at all. I want to see women referees, women commentators, backstage interview. Basically, well, all the backstage interviewers are female anyway, so that's fine. But like for the commentary team, have like Renee Young and I don't know, maybe like an older diva, or why did I say diva? No, an older women's wrestler. Maybe like Alundra Blaze or something. That'd be cool. Um, have the female referees, because I know there's one female referee in NXT, so put her on the show for sure. Have Lillian Garcia and JoJo announce the matches if you want to. Like, having Lillian Garcia back, that'd be fucking sick. But they also announced that over 50 women from the past, the present, and the future, then, now, and forever. The big slogan that is at the start of every fucking show WWE put out. But, like, you know, this could be a really cool idea, the WWE Evolution, if done right. You know, I don't want to see Michael Cole and a chick on commentary. No, fuck Michael Cole right off. So the show's going to take place at the Nassau Coliseum, which is cool. And there are already, like, 5 matches announced, sort of. So, the Raw Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's title, NXT Women's title, the United Kingdom Women's title, which is new, and the Mae Young Classic Tournament Finals will all be on this show. So, who do I think will be in these matches? Well, we have to think about the SummerSlam pay-per-view, the next pay-per-view after that, I think it's Hell in a Cell, the Super Showdown in Australia, and then we get to Evolution. So, who do I think will be in these matches? Well, for the Raw Women's Championship, I feel like it's going to be Ronda Rousey as champion. For the SmackDown Women's title, I want to see Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. It's been teasing for a while. You know, Charlotte Flair did beat Carmella on SmackDown, and the match at SummerSlam will be a triple threat for the SmackDown Women's title. So, and it looked like Becky Lynch was not happy with that. So they could do a storyline where if Charlotte does win the championship at SummerSlam, she can go into a feud with Becky Lynch, which, if they do that right, that could be a great fucking feud. And they could have a match at Hell in a Cell, maybe something at the Super Showdown or some shit like that, and then have the match here at Evolution. That'd be really cool. The Women's title, Ronda Rousey, there's a good chance Ronda will be the champion. I think she'll defend it against Natalya. Knowing Natalya's character, she's most likely going to turn her back on Ronda, because that's what she does with a lot of people for some reason. And they could probably have a match at the show. So Ronda Rousey versus Natalya would be pretty darn cool. NXT Women's Championship. We've got to think about this, because the TakeOver Brooklyn 4, Shayna Baszler, I think, is defending against Kairi Sane. So, if so, I think Shayna could retain and be in this match. I think there's a good chance that she will be in the NXT Women's Championship match at WWE Evolution if she stays on the NXT roster and doesn't bring herself up onto the main roster, which could happen. She could be up on Raw and like confront Ronda Rousey, and we could have like a 4 horsewoman type battle. That'd be pretty awesome. But you know what? I'm just gonna spitball a random idea. Fatal 4-way match. Why not? A Fatal 4-way match. Have Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane, Candice LeRae, and Dakota Kai, because I really like Dakota Kai, because they had a really cool little thing going where Dakota Kai was trying to stand up to Shayna Baszler, but she was too scared and all that. That was really cool. So yeah, that's another match prediction I've got out there. A Fatal 4-way for the NXT Women's title. That'd be cool. As for the UK Women's Championship, I have a feeling Toni Storm will be in the match. That's all depending how she places in the Mae Young Classic. I don't know if she's going to win it, but I feel like she's going to do a damn good job at it. Toni Storm versus Kaylee Ray. There we go. There's my match right there. As for the Mae Young Classic final, I'm not sure. I've got to have a look at who's in this tournament. I know Io Shirai is in the tournament, and that's probably my best prediction on winning. But looking down the names here, there's quite a few in there. Honestly, I'm not really sure at this point. I'm probably going to have to watch the Mae Young Classic, which actually starts in August. So I'm just going to say Io Shirai will face someone and she will win the Mae Young Classic. I mean, she's one of the biggest female wrestlers outside of WWE, if not the biggest female wrestler outside of the company. Now that she's here in WWE or NXT, she will probably win the Mae Young Classic. I'm not sure if this will lead to her wrestling the NXT Women's Championship, because they did do something similar to that last year, I think. Yeah, because Kairi Sane was in the Fatal 4-Way match at a takeover for the NXT Women's title. So, yeah, they could go many different options with this. Overall, I'm just excited to see how the show will go. They could do like a battle royal with a bunch of older female wrestlers. That'd be cool. And hell, maybe the winner of that gets a shot at, I don't know, going on the roster again or facing a champion. You know, they could do a lot of cool things on this show. Or they could do like a big dream match of some sort. Like have, I don't know, Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Trish Stratus and Lita. That'd be pretty awesome. Yeah, there's just so many things they could do with this show. A lot of potential. And so we're just going to have to wait and see until the actual day arrives to see how the show pans out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Evolution. This could be a very interesting show if done right. So, yeah, moving on to what's going on SmackDown, which is much, much better compared to the so-called flagship show. But the main thing that has been sticking out with me has been Randy Orton. Randy Orton's heel turn. Man. Like, ever since he cost or like beat up Jeff Hardy at Extreme Rules, Randy Orton has been the most intriguing he's been in years, man. Like, the bit where he was pulling, I think it was on SmackDown, where he pulled on Jeff Hardy's ear piercing and tried to rip it out of his ear. Oh my god, that was fucking evil. And like the promo he cut as well on Jeff Hardy, like, Orton's back, man. Randy Orton is back to where he should have been. Like, he feels more revitalized now. He feels like he did in 2009, which in my opinion was like Randy Orton at his peak as just of his career in general, in my opinion. And he looks like he's trying to harken back to where he was then, but, you know, not be a complete, you know, redo of what he was doing in 2009. But he's just back to his old vicious ways, and I fucking love it, man. That's like how Randy Orton should be as a character. Just cold, just fucking evil, like doing whatever he can to just hurt his opponent, and I love that. So the US title scene has been really interesting, especially Shinsuke Nakamura still killing it as a heel, and also I love me some Jeff Hardy. He's just great as a babyface, and I really hope this could lead to a triple threat match at SummerSlam. But as of right now, it's only going to be Hardy and Nakamura in a one-on-one match. So I'm not sure if this Jeff Hardy-Randy Orton feud is going to be just without a title. I mean, they could easily do this feud without a championship. I feel like Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton can definitely carry a feud without a title if they keep booking it the way that they are right now. But and as for Nakamura, there's a lot of guys that can go after his US title, and Nakamura can make that interesting. So yeah, the US title scene has been really interesting so far. As for the WWE title scene, earlier in the month, AJ Styles and Rusev feuded, and Rusev seems to be just getting more over the crowd every day. Although he did lose his WWE title match with AJ Styles. It looks like Lana and Rusev are turning face and feuding with Andrade Cien Almas, who is a wrestler that has been like really impressing me so far. Like, Cien Almas has to be like one of the best wrestlers of 2018 so far. Like, the shit he's done in NXT and the way he's going right now on the main roster, like, Cien Almas is on fucking fire, man. And it looks like they're feuding with Rusev and Lana, and that could lead to like a mixed tag team match, which could be really cool. They could do that maybe at Hell in a Cell, or hell, even on an episode of SmackDown, and make that the main event. But although Rusev and Lana are slowly starting to turn face, it looks like Aiden English is accidentally costing them all of their matches, and they're really starting to get on Rusev and Lana's nerves. So that's been very intriguing. I don't know if this will lead to an Aiden English Rusev feud, but if it does, then that makes sense. But as for the champion, AJ Styles, he is going to move on to a feud with Samoa Joe, which is more than alright with me. Samoa Joe he's going to take this chance and fucking go all the way with it. I can see it now. Samoa Joe, if there's anyone that deserves a WWE title match, it's him, man. I feel like if WWE lets AJ and Joe go out there and put on the performance that they probably put on with each other on TNA, then, like, man, this could be really awesome. Like, at one point, like, imagine if you would have told me 10 years ago, in 2008, that AJ Styles and Samoa Joe would be competing for the WWE title at SummerSlam, I'd be like, what? Like, I would have thought there would have been, like, 15-time TNA World Champions at that point, or some shit like that. But it's really interesting how time flies, man. So I'm very excited for AJ and Samoa Joe. I hope those two guys just have a cracking feud. The tag team division has basically been owned by the Bludgeon Brothers at this point. They've been they took out Team Hell No, and it looks like Kane is basically done with wrestling at this point, as he's been elected the mayor of some town in Tennessee. Which, congratulations to Kane. Yeah, there's a tournament going on at the moment, and whoever wins that tournament will face the Bludgeon Brothers for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. I think the Usos and the New Day are in there. Yeah, Usos and New Day are in the finals, I believe. I'll probably pop something up on the screen if I'm wrong. But I feel like the Usos might win the tournament and go on to face the Bludgeon Brothers, which have they had a one-on-one have they had a proper 2-on-2 match? I think they have. But I don't feel like they're going to be the team to beat the Bludgeon Brothers. It's going to take a big team to come along and kick their ass. So, yeah, Bludgeon Brothers been great SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and yeah, I've been really digging it, man. As for the SmackDown Women's title scene, I talked about that a little bit before with Charlotte, Carmella, and Becky Lynch having a triple threat match at SummerSlam in August. But before then, she was kind of feuding with Charlotte Flair, and how James Ellsworth kept getting involved. Although it looks like now that Paige has fired James Ellsworth, so there goes that. James Ellsworth, he'll probably be wrestling on GTS Wrestling or some shit like that. But yeah, I've already talked about that. Is there anything else going on? That's all I can really think about first when it comes to my head. But yeah, SmackDown, man, they've been doing like a million times better than fucking Raw's doing at the moment. It seems like SmackDown's finally getting back on track, because they were really thundering like mid to late 2017 and even earlier this year. But it looks like they've gone back on track, and you know what? That's awesome to see. As for the Cruiserweight brand, 205 Live, ever since Triple H has taken over control of 205 Live, it has been such a damn good show, man. I've been really enjoying how 205 Live has been changing. This is exactly what the brand has needed, man. Ever since they had that tournament for the Cruiserweight title, I've been loving 205 Live. And at the moment, it looks like Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak are going to be feuding for the Cruiserweight title. I know Cedric Alexander defended his title against Hideo Itami and successfully retained. And yeah, he's going to be moving into a feud with Drew Gulak, and it could be looking like Drew wins the Cruiserweight title at this point. Like, Drew Gulak even called Cedric Alexander the Brock Lesnar of the Cruiserweight division because he doesn't defend his belt often. And I think he's defended his title like every month. I'm pretty sure he has, but they are going to be facing at SummerSlam. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the pre-show or on the main show. I hope it's on the main show, because that'd be great. I really think those two guys could put on a damn good show. As for Drew Gulak, I'm so happy he's got a shot at the Cruiserweight title. He's been one of the more interesting characters on the Cruiserweight division. I know he's got a bit of a posse with Brian Kendrick and gentleman Jack Gallagher at the moment. And yeah, just no complaints here about Drew Gulak getting a shot at the Cruiserweight title. Can't wait to see his PowerPoint presentation if he's still doing that stuff. We have Lio Rush, the newest addition to 205 Live. He's been debuting and feuding with Akira Tozawa. Lio Rush, man, I've been really liking his character. He's someone who thinks he's like the top shit of the Cruiserweight division. He was like got a bit of a rapper type of gimmick to him. Like, obviously he doesn't rap, but like he's got the gold chain and he thinks he's like $1 million and stuff like that. And Akira Tozawa is basically just trying to knock him down a few pegs and try to deflate his ego a little bit. But I don't think that's going to happen. Lio Rush knows how good he is. Even though we can ignore the spot he did in the indie scene where he fell off the ladder through 2 tables and he got back up and no-sold it. That was fucking stupid. But, if they keep his selling under control and all that, Lio Rush, I think, could help himself get over. And he's doing a good job. Because I know he's had a bit of a rough start in WWE, especially with those comments he made about Emma last year when she got released and all that stuff. And, we can only hope that Lio Rush does great in 205 Live. And I think he will. However, the biggest highlight for me this month when it comes to 205 Live would have to be on the July 4th episode, the no DQ match between Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy. Oh my god, watch that match. Please, please, please watch that match between Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy. It was fucking fantastic. Just, it wasn't a blood and guts type of match. Obviously, the blood and guts style of no DQ matches is basically gone from WWE, and it's highly unlikely it's ever going to come back. But these two guys did a great job. There was a spot where he did a superplex off the top of the steps. I know that doesn't sound too bad, but he doesn't set it up normally. He set us up long ways. So yeah, that was just great, man. And just so many good spots in the match as well. And I think Mustafa Ali won. I got to double check who won that match. Yeah, I think it was Mustafa Ali who did win that match, but seriously, just watch it. It was fantastic, man. So, moving on to NXT, the big thing that happened on NXT this month was Tommaso Ciampa winning the NXT Championship. So, Johnny Gargano has kind of become a little bit obsessed with kicking the shit out of Tommaso Ciampa. Well, we've all already known that for this whole year, pretty much, but especially he's been kind of losing his mind a little bit. I remember he was wrestling a match with someone and he was being really vicious in that match and just wanting to win for sure. But he hit Aleister Black with the championship and cost Aleister Black the title, and because of that Tommaso Ciampa did win the NXT title. I think he did that so we can get closer to Tommaso Ciampa and beat him for the NXT Championship, which would be something that I think Johnny Gargano would do. But I think he's starting to realize that he's not being himself recently. And from what I read, Aleister Black turned heel and blamed Johnny Gargano for costing him the NXT title. He hit the Black Mass on him. I mean, to be fair, he's not wrong. Aleister Black has every right to be pissed off at Johnny Gargano. But Tommaso Ciampa, hands down, the best heel of 2018. I can't think of anyone else that has gotten the level of heat that Tommaso Ciampa has. His theme, he doesn't even have a theme song. His theme song is the people booing him and telling him how much of an asshole he is. He isn't just embracing the hatred and just getting under people's skin. He does that so much better than any other person, main roster or on NXT. Tommaso Ciampa is just on another fucking level, man. What I was saying before when I was talking about Nikolai Volkoff's passing, about how much heat he got back in the day, and how there was a few exceptions for today. Tommaso Ciampa is that exception. He is just a heat magnet. He is a literal magnet to just get people to fucking despise him, because he just does underhanded and just very vile things, and he's so good at doing that, man. And Johnny Gargano is basically the complete opposite, and he admits what he's been doing is wrong. And this was probably going to be a triple threat match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4, but from what I've been seeing recently is that Aleister Black could be seriously injured, which is not good for the story. But I feel like Gargano and Ciampa can still make this very entertaining without Aleister Black. But Aleister Black could add that extra dimension to it, man. But there's not really much you could do about injuries. They just kind of happen, unfortunately. So the NXT Women's Division is, I talked about that recently. Shayna Baszler still killing it as NXT Women's Champion. So Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong are still the NXT Tag Team Champions. And I think they're having a rematch against Mustache Mountain at the next TakeOver, which will be very interesting to see. I think they'll have a great match because they did have a great match at the UK special in June. So that should be really great. There's also a feud building up between EC3 and the Velveteen Dream, which that's going to be fucking killer. Two of the best characters on the show for sure. So that's going to be a very, very entertaining matchup to see. What else is there? That's all I can really think about so far for NXT. I know Adam Cole is feuding with Ricochet. That match is going to be balls-tastic. And yeah, NXT still killing it as usual. Basically, every television show on WWE is great except for Raw. Why is it that? Why is it Raw the only show that's shit and everything else is doing great? Like, that's fucked, man. That's fucked. We had the Extreme Rules pay-per-view this month, and I gave it, I think I gave it like a 7 or something like that. Like, I enjoyed it a lot more. No, I gave it a 4. Wow. That's a big fucking misfire, yeah. From what I remember from Extreme Rules, I didn't like a lot of it. AJ Styles versus Rusev was the best match on the show for me, personally. But that wasn't really saying much considering the show was very bland. Didn't have much going for it. Like, the main event... shit, what was the fucking main event? See, I'm already forgetting about the pay-per-view. That's how forgettable this show was. Extreme Rules 2018 was just... oh, man. See, I'm having a mind blank. That just goes to show you what kind of a show this was. It was... no, it wasn't Roman versus Bobby. Oh, it was the fucking Iron Man match between Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler and the fans chanting that stupid clock thing. Yeah, that was just a very disappointing main event. Whether it be that the crowd ruined it or just they were just sick of the show in general. Yeah, Extreme Rules was a very disappointing show overall. And hopefully SummerSlam is a lot better. If you want to see my full thoughts on Extreme Rules, I did a review of it closer to the pay-per-view being released, so make sure to go check that out if you want a more in-depth review of Extreme Rules. So moving on from WWE, we'll talk about what's been going on with New Japan Pro Wrestling, because I've always wanted to talk about New Japan. I did a review of Wrestle Kingdom 12 at the beginning of the year, and I'll probably do a review of Wrestle Kingdom 13 next year, because I really enjoyed reviewing Wrestle Kingdom 12. It was a fucking incredible show. I've been loving New Japan, man. They are exactly what we need in wrestling right now. So we had the G1 special in San Francisco this month. The big thing coming out of this show for me was the Kenny Omega and Cody match. These guys had a really good main event with each other. Kenny Omega retained his IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and it looks like everyone was reunited during the end of the show because Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and King Haku all attacked the members of Bullet Club, and they revealed like a sub-section of Bullet Club called the Firing Squad, and they just laid out the rest of Bullet Club, man. I'm talking Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, Hangman Page, just fucking everyone, man. Even Takahashi, Chase Owens, like everyone copped it. And like there was a bit where Cody looked like he was gonna team up with the Gorillas of Destiny, but he said, nah, fuck yous, and fought back against them. Like even Marty Scurll got involved, or however you pronounce his last name. I keep fucking up his last name, man. But yeah, it was a very enjoyable show, and the ending was very shocking, and definitely lead on to the G1 Climax, which started later that month. Some other big moments from that show: Juice Robinson won the IWGP United States title against Jay White in a great match. I love the storytelling that was told in this. Both guys played their roles very well. Jay White was so embracing his heel moniker. He was getting people to fucking hate him. Like, I remember there was a spot where he Irish whipped Juice Robinson into the announcer's desk where JR was, and even JR was starting to get pissed off at Jay White. So when Juice Robinson won the title, it was definitely a great moment, especially for Juice Robinson, going such a long way from being CJ Parker on NXT and having that not work out from him to being one of the best baby faces on New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's so great to see, man. I'm really happy for Juice Robinson to turn his career around and have a good thing going for him. So yeah, more than happy to see Juice Robinson win the IWGP US Heavyweight title. And there were a few other things that happened on the show, but I can't really remember off the top of my head. But the big thing as well with New Japan Pro Wrestling this month was the start of the G1 Climax. The first 11 days took place, and as of the July 30th show, this is where the A block and the B block stand. So in the A block, we have Togi Makabe on 4 points, Yoshihashi on 0, Hangman Page on 2, Bad Luck Fale on 6, Michael Elgin on 4, Evil and Jay White and Minoru Suzuki and Kazuchika Okada are all on 8, and Hiroshi Tanahashi is leading with 10 points. And on B block, we have Tamatonga and Toriyano on 2, along with Juice Robinson. We have Tomohiro Ishii and Hiroki Goto at 4 points, Zack Sabre Jr. and Sonata at 6, Tetsuya Naito on 8, and Kenny Omega on 10 points. So, yeah, especially during the start of the G1 Climax, something that was very interesting with me was that Kazuchika Okada lost his first 2 matches. His first one against Jay White. I can't remember who the other person was. Was it someone from Bullet Club? I'm not sure. But Jay White was looking really, really strong in the opening of the G1 Climax. Like, he's been doing very well in this tournament, alongside with Evil and Minoru Suzuki. And Hiroshi Tanahashi has been killing it in this tournament as well. I don't think he'll be winning it or going to the finals of the G1 Climax because Kazuchika Okada has been building up some wins recently, and I think his next match, as of the time I'm recording this, is against Tanahashi or someone else, and I feel like he will be in the finals for the A block. As for Yoshihashi, he doesn't have a chance in hell, unfortunately. He's the jobber of the A block, which, yeah, there's always got to be one person, unfortunately. But I love me some Yoshihashi. As for the B block, Kenny Omega has basically been going undefeated. I know he lost one match against someone, and I fucking forgot who it was. Tetsuya Naito's been doing great. I don't know if he's going to be in the finals. He might be. Now that Kenny Omega lost one match, but I know that was in August, and we'll talk about that when we do the August episode. But yeah, G1 Climax has been very interesting. I've been really enjoying it. Been taking up a lot of my nights, but you know, nothing wrong with that. Got something to do, I guess. So yeah, G1 Climax 28. The MVP for me so far has been Kota Ibushi. He's been putting on some incredible performances, and I really hope he does win the G1 Climax and faces Kenny Omega for the IWGP Heavyweight title. I think that'd be an incredible match. I know he is facing him in the last match of the B Block tournament, and that's just going to be off the fucking chain. I can already see it now. So, yeah, I've been really enjoying the G1 Climax, and when we get to August, there was a match that happened in the G1 Climax that I really want to talk about. So, yeah, the last bit of news for New Japan Pro Wrestling is that they're going to be doing a show at Madison Square Garden with Ring of Honor at WrestleMania 35 on the weekend of WrestleMania 35. That's going to be a huge moment for them, like a huge moment for just for wrestling in general. Like, holy shit, when was the last time a non-WWE event was in Madison Square Garden? Like, that's fucking huge, man. Like, the All-In event with Cody Rhodes, that's pretty big in itself, the biggest independent wrestling event. But, like, to see Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling go to the Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, during WrestleMania weekend, and I think it's going to be on the same day as NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 5, which is meant to take place during WrestleMania weekend. Like, holy shit. Like, that's, like, WWE have to be just fuming at that, especially Vince. Like, he would be fucking pissed at something like that. So, yeah, I'm very excited for what that show's going to bring during WrestleMania weekend. That's going to be a good fucking week. WrestleMania 35 week next year. Ooh, that's going to be pretty awesome. But the last thing I want to talk about before I wrap this episode up is Impact Wrestling. Wow, they've really turned themselves around this year. Even Impact Wrestling is better than Raw. Basically, everything besides Monday Night Raw this year has been great. Has been really damn good. Like, there's honestly no point to watch Raw anymore because we've got so many good alternatives. Like, I didn't even watch Raw this week. I know Ronda Rousey faced Alicia Fox and that was alright, but the rest of the show I couldn't give a shit about. But Slammiversary 2018 or Slammiversary... what date was Slammiversary? Was it Slammiversary 16? Double check. Yeah, Slammiversary 16 that took place for Impact Wrestling. And it was a great show. It was a really fucking good show. Definitely their best show in God knows how long. God knows how long, man. The main event between Austin Aries and Moose for the Impact World title was really good. Like, even the pay-per-view, like, just the match card looks really, really good. Like, the opening match was a Fatal 4-Way match between Johnny Impact, Phoenix, Taiji Ishimori, who is the Bone Soldier in Bullet Club, and Petey Williams. I think there was meant to be someone else that was there, but he replaced him at the last minute. But yeah, it was a great match. Really damn good match. And the Impact World Tag Team title match, the 5150 street fight between the LAX, the new LAX, Santana and Ortiz, versus the OGs, Hernandez and Homicide. Very brutal, very good match as well. But the match that took the cake for me, Pentagon Jr. versus Sami Callihan. Oh my god. This match was great. Like, the story for this was really good as well. Sami Callihan, I underestimated how good of a bad guy he really is. Like, ever since he, like, accidentally hit Eddie Edwards in the face with a bat, that's, like, been... I don't know. He's just been really good at being just a prick, man. And Pentagon Jr., I know he's in a tag team with Phoenix, which kind of goes against what he's doing in Lucha Underground at the moment, because I know he is the Lucha Underground champion, but Lucha Underground is basically completely separate with what's going on in the real world. It's kind of in its own little bubble. But yeah, this was just a great mask versus hair match. Pentagon Jr. won and got to shave off Sami Callihan's head with the help of Phoenix. It was very bloody. There was like a bit on the chairs, like I don't know, man. It was a great match. Definitely go watch it. The X Division title match between Matt Sydal and Brian Cage was really good. I really liked the match between Eddie Edwards and Tommy Dreamer. That was very interesting. The build up for this was really interesting as well, because Eddie Edwards was originally a babyface going after Sami Callihan, but he kind of went a bit fucking crazy, and Tommy Dreamer had to, like, tell him to chill out a bit. And I think he's calmed down now after this match in the House of Hardcore Rules. Very violent, but also very good. This show was a very violent show. Like, if you miss that ruthless aggression, attitude era style of, like, bloody fights and all that, you're going to love this show, man. For sure. So yeah, go give Slammiversary 16 a watch. It's definitely worth it. And I'm going to have to start watching Impact Wrestling now. I'll see if there's anything announced for Bound for Glory so far. Nothing's been announced so far, but it is going to take place in New York City on October 14th. So that's going to be a show I'm definitely going to talk about when we get to the October episode. So yeah, I'm going to wrap things up for this first episode here. These episodes are probably going to be very long because there's a lot of things to talk about. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this episode. I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Comment down below if you watched this entire episode and if you enjoyed it. And also, if there's anything taking place in August in the world of wrestling that you'd like me to talk about, and if you want to see more from me, hit that subscribe button. You'd be glad you did. Twitter and Instagram's at JuckerManLove31. If you want to check me out there, thank you so much for watching, and I'm out in 3, 2, 1.